Yeah, that's right, so show us there, so. Right, so you want to see one of the new planets that we found? That's right, yeah, I'd like to see one of the new planets. Okay, Mr. O'Keefe, I have a lot of numbers here now that I have to go through first before I can bring up the image of the new planet that we've discovered. Because after all, some of them are 100 light years away. And that in layman terms is billions and trillions of miles away. So there you have it. And they're billions and trillions of years old. Alright, that's great. So if you just wait out there, Mr. O'Keefe, in the waiting room, I won't be 5 minutes. And have a cup of coffee while you're waiting. Sure, can I not? I'd sit here, like, watch you. This kind of data that I'm using, you know, unfortunately, the company does not allow anyone, unless you're a part of the company, to sit in front of it while I am crunching the numbers. Alright, it's a bit dodgy anyway, but look, alright, go on, I'll go out there and have a cup of tea. That's great, Mr. O'Keefe, there you go. I'll have a cup myself. I just call my assistant Stuart. Stuart. Hi guys, hi everybody, how are you? Stuart, will you do me a favour there when you're ready, please? Will you make me a lovely cup of coffee, please? I'd have a majestic cup of coffee. Since Frank in here, I need to talk to Frank in a minute. Oh, hi, will do, boss, will do. Frank? Yeah, you wanted over here by the boss, Frank. Right, on the way. Well, what's happening, boss? Hi, Frank. Mr. O'Keefe's out there now, and I have to show him some images here on the computer, so I was just wondering, will you bring me a majestic cup of coffee? Well, of course, boss, 2 minutes now, and I'll be back to you. Right, I've got to start crunching these numbers now. Boss? Oh yes, how do you do, Tony? Your cup of coffee is ready there, boss, when you're ready. Okay, so thanks very much, Tony. Thank you. No worries, boss. Is there something I can help you with, Tony? No, boss, I was just wondering. You know, you're crunching them numbers, all them numbers on that sheet of paper you have. Well, you were supposed to type in 757575, but you're after hitting the wrong keys, and you put in 767676. Was that right, Tony? Would you mind getting out there, Tony, and cleaning the jacks for me, please, instead of standing around here looking at me? The jacks, boss? The toilets, Tony. Go up and mop the toilets. Telling me what to do. Show me this number here. 75, I done it again, 75. 75, what was it again, 75? Oh, I can't even know which line I was on. Oh, I'll just close my eyes and spin my finger around and hope for the best. 7939. Oh, look at that, that's amazing. I'm right close to where I thought it was. All done with the blind eye. Anyway, on we go. Done. Majestic work. Stuart? Yes, boss. What's happening, boss? Tell Mr. O'Keefe come in here, I want him. Will do, boss. How you doing, bud? How are you, Mr. O'Keefe? Grant, did you enjoy your cup of tea? It was majestic. That's a word we like to use around here a lot. I know that's that, alright. So can you show me this majestic picture there of this planet you discovered there? Well, I can, of course, Mr. O'Keefe. If you look there closely at the screen now, you can see clear as day there is the planet we've discovered. I can't see nothing, bud. Sorry, Mr. O'Keefe? I can't see nothing, bud. Nothing. There's nothing on the screen. It's black. I can't see a thing. Oh, no, Mr. O'Keefe. Maybe it's your eyesight, Mr. O'Keefe. You clearly see that little red dot in the middle. Well, it's kind of, you can vaguely make it out, but you can see it's there. Alright, yeah, I see it. Like, I can see that bit of a fadey looking red dot in the middle, yeah, but I'm saying, where's the picture of the planet that you're supposed to be in? That's after discovering. Mr. O'Keefe, you're terrible. Well, no, Mr. O'Keefe, you got to understand. You're talking about serious distance there. I mean, we're talking about these planets are light years away. Well, I know that they're light years away. That's what you keep saying. But I'd just like to know, like, is that all you can show me? of this planet? Is that all ye have, or is that just, are you pulling my leg? I can assure Mr. Keefe, I'm not pulling your leg. The scientific eye, the trained eye, can clearly see that that is a planet. And if you look very, very closely, Mr. Keefe, you can probably notice there's grooves. Some of them are probably impact craters, maybe old rivers ran through them back in the days. We're talking about millions and millions and hundreds of millions of years ago, Mr. Keefe. Yeah, one sec there now, bud, one sec, bud. My mind is... But listen, I'm after winning this little trip in here. And I said, because I won it in the old thing, and I never won that in my life, I happened to win this bit of a ticket to come in here, and I had nothing else to do, so I said I'd come in and I'd have a look. So, I mean, I thought I might be intrigued a bit. But you're telling me that's all that you can show me. Well, now, Mr. Keefe, you've got to understand again, these planets are millions and millions and hundreds of millions of miles away. But how can you see a crater or what you're suspecting as rivers or ice caps or whatever? But how can you see all that and that? It's only a bloody tiny, you can barely notice it amongst the black backdrop. Mr. Keefe, I did tell you it's the trained eye. You can see there if you look at the screen, anyone can clearly see there is a vaguely red circle there in the centre. Well, like I said, I can see that. But I mean, is that it now? Well, I could make it a lot clearer, Mr. Keefe, if you really wanted to. But that'd be handy. But while we're looking at that then, well, it wouldn't be the real image. It'd be a rendition of what that really is. Hold on now a minute, bud. See that picture there? Yes, Mr. Keefe. I clearly can see it. It's clear as crystal clear. Well, I wouldn't say crystal clear. You can barely see the bloody circle. But, Mr. Keefe, I'm being sarcastic. Well, I know you're being sarcastic. That's the problem. There's a lot of sarcasm going on and assumptions. Now, will you just explain to me one thing so I can go out there with some bit of more knowledge than I had when I came in? Can you make that picture any clearer? Well, of course we can, Mr. Keefe, but it'd be a rendition of that. So what you're saying is you can't show me that any clearer? Well, of course I can, Mr. Keefe. We can make it clear as day. I mean, I can make that crystal clear for you to see. And will it be that... Will it be a rendition of it, as I keep specifying, Mr. Keefe? A rendition. I mean, there's no camera capable of going out that far and taking a photo. But we know through the trained and mind-controlled eye, through the controlled eye, that there, Mr. Keefe. Just bear with me, Mr. Keefe, because I feel I'll have to circle back. 1 minute, we'll circle back to you. Here, just bear with me there a minute. I'll just crunch a couple of more numbers. Now, I just into my files there. There we go. There's a lot of scientists working on this. I'll just go into their files. Here I am. And here's more. There you go, Mr. Keefe. Crystal clear. As I said to you, there are all renditions of the new planet. There's a lot of scientists on there. They have come up with renditions. And there it is there. My man, you'll have to go into a file there to pull that out of there. Go and show us another one of the pictures. Oh, well, of course, Mr. Keefe, there's no need to be so angry. 1 second. There you go, Mr. Keefe. Yeah, but that doesn't look nothing like the other one there a second ago. Well, they're renditions, Mr. Keefe. Every scientist sees it through his own lens, you know, his own frontal lobe. You mean through his arse, is it? His back lobe. Listen, my man, come here. Why can't you give me a clear picture there? And why do I have to believe all this stuff you're telling me? You're telling me you're discovering this new planet all these millions of miles away. Yes, Mr. Keefe, but you got to understand, that's 100 light years away. Now, for the people who don't understand, the speed of light travels at 186,000 miles per second. That's 186,000 miles per second speed of light. You've got to think of that, Mr. Keefe. It's like stepping from the earth and within a second and a half you're at the moon. So you think of that now. Now think of that for 100 years. Can I tell you something, bud? Well, of course you can, Mr. Keefe. And my name is Professor. You don't have to keep calling me Bud. Right, Bud. Professor. Okay, Bud. Mr. Keefe, why do you have to be so obnoxious? Because, listen, Bud, you're the one who started it when I asked you to show me the planet. Can I give you my opinion, what I think is really going on here? I think that all that is a blur of outer space or somewhere out there or whatever it is. But funny enough, how come when we're trying to prove something, See, my theory is this, is if you want to fool the people into thinking ye know most than what's going on, all you got to do is tell the people that blur is 100 light years away, i.e. millions and billions of miles away from Earth. Billions and billions and billions of miles away from Earth, right? And there's no way for me to prove you wrong, Professor, because I can't get out there to see it, to prove it. Well, no, Mr. O'Keefe, the technology we have, no, 1 minute now, but the same with something that's old. Like if you're dating something, oh, this is 4 billion years old, the dinosaurs walked around 65 million years ago, this is what you tell us. And we have no way to disprove it, because, I mean, if you say something is billions and billions of miles away and millions and millions and millions of years ago, then we have no way to verify. We just got to take your word for it. Well, Mr. O'Keefe, I mean, I've studied the books. In fairness, bud, you're telling me, like, that's what you believe, that blur there is this here. Yes, Mr. O'Keefe, and here's another one. And another one. And there's a ball of them for you. No, but listen to me, none of them planets, they barely look like each other. Well, as I said, it's all down to the eye of the professor, who controls the mind of the masses. So what you're saying to me, Mr. O'Keefe, is you don't believe that that's a planet? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't believe that's a planet. It just looks like a little smudgy little dot. I suppose you don't believe in the other planets either, Mr. O'Keefe, like Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Yes, I do believe in Mars and Venus and Jupiter and Pluto and Uranus, yeah, but you're talking a lot of it. But they're planets you can see. What you think I'm stupid, is it? They're planets you can see. With a telescope, you can see they're out there and you can guesstimate the size of them. Right? It's the ones that you can't see, that you're telling us are billions and billions of miles away and millions of years away. They're the ones that are, like that little fuzzy looking dot there that you're looking at. That kind of stuff. When you're there busy doing your little, and you're missing the things and the whole lot, hitting the wrong numbers, punching them up and throwing this out in front of me and telling me this is millions of years away. Look, bud, I don't believe in all this crap here that you're on about. And you're just trying to discredit God and the creation. Oh no, Mr. O'Keefe, that's a religion, see, you're mixing them up. You believe in a religion, I believe in science. And so, what do you think science is? Science is a religion. But this is science, Mr. O'Keefe, tried and tested science. All these theories you have. Well, how is that, Mr. O'Keefe? Well, you believe in this, that these ones and dots and zeros and crunchy and that little bloody picture, you believe that's a planet, and or it was one, or it could be one, and there was mountains and caps, and you think there was rivers and all these kind of assumptions. You believe all that shit too. That's a belief as well. That's a faith. You have faith in that. You believe in Darwin's theory. A theory, not a fact. A theory, you believe in that. That's a religion. Science is a religion these days. Science is destroyed by ye freaks who just pump out everything. But Mr. O'Keefe, you have to have faith in the science of everything that we're doing, Mr. O'Keefe. The years, the knowledge. One minute. What's that, Mr. O'Keefe? There, you said it just said faith. Faith in the science. And out there you make a lot of assumptions and you believe in them assumptions. Like you believe in Darwin's theory, all them stuff, all that stuff. And them assumptions. So there you go. So like it's a religion. So with that said, I truly believe that if you want to control the world and fool us all, you make things billions and billions and billions of miles away, millions and millions and millions of years away, and no way for us to prove it. So you have us by the shot and collies.